Thanks, Kathy.
Because
Thanks, Kathy. I've got it. How come I can't see it? Oh, there's everybody. Woo!
hello.
I was like, what else is going to happen? What else?
Hi, Barbara.
Hi.
Hey, Tina Limpert.
Hello, hello.
Right. Oh, we got a
Hi.
big audience today.
Oh, yeah. We have over
Samantha.
500 people that RSVP'd.
There was
Wow.
a snow delay today.
Oh, Suzanne, I don't know about what's up in Cambridge, but we've got about 6 inches here.
We've got 8 here and still going.
Oh,
Sweet
my.
Mother of Venus. Yeah, fun.
I think I'm moving to Seattle.
Oh, no, we
Yeah,
just
no.
had 2 inches of rain overnight.
Yeah,
Everything's
don't
flooded.
do it.
Anybody, maybe San Diego? I don't know.
No,
Maybe
no escape from it
Austin,
now.
Austin, Texas.
No.
Georgia has beautiful weather.
Georgia?
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm there.
It's
Okay.
sunny and 36.
Wow. Well, I mean, it's going to be sunny this afternoon, but
Oh, we don't see sun until April.
oh, okay. No, I can't do Seattle, I don't think.
I see you, Brees, and I see you, Samantha Verone. Don't I look shifty-eyed? Don't I? I'm letting everybody in. That's why I always look so shifty-eyed, looking off to the side. I don't want anybody to miss a beat
We
of
just look
this
insane.
fun pre-banter.
Pre-banter that's being recorded for posterity.
Did you just let me know when you want me to give the blessing today?
Oh, yeah, today is, yeah. Is it the blessing of the, no.
It's the
snowflake?
blessing of the Zoom today.
For
What do you guys think
2022.
about my shirt, first of all, right? So I dyed it with some kutch and logwood from Botanical
Woo.
Colors. And you know why I did that? Let's see if my mom's here. My mom said I looked ecclesiastic in this shirt. So see the top?
Yeah.
I think it really was an altar boy's shirt. So so I had to change it up. So yeah, if you guys need a blessing at all, or maybe we should burn some incense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
We could use
game. I'm
it.
game for doing it.
we could use it.
Okay.
All right, are we ready?
May the spirit of nature bless you all. Amen.
Amen. There we go. Okay, we're
Okay, I
getting
mean, there's
really
still a
excited.
lot of people coming in, Kathy.
They sure are.
Yeah. I mean, Julia Rose just joined, so,
Oh, now we can start?
well, when Julia Rose is here, yeah, I mean, there's key people here. Kip Inglis,
Kip's here.
Leslie Leonard.
Yep.
I mean, we have,
Saw Barbara Shapiro.
I mean, yeah, there's so many people.
All the
that-
important people are here.
I mean,
Can't name you all, but you are all important.
did Diane Becker show up today, or is she,
It's,
Diane, are you here?
It's happy hour in.
Diane is having surgery if she's not here.
Oh,
So there's that, but she'll be fine. Okay, it's
Okay,
slowing
good.
down a little bit.
all right, are we ready?
I don't know, are you ready? Because I don't know if I'm ready. You're ready? Okay, you've got the script.
Got my
Is
script.
everybody muted? Oh, Dorothy Yuki's here too, right? I see
Oh, yeah,
Dorothy
Dorothy's
too.
here.
So-
All right, all is good.
All right, everybody mute themselves. And Kathy, you want to let?
I'm letting them in.
Okay.
Dance
Let's see if
Collective,
let's see if my screen shares.
countdown.
Yep. Woo. Okay. Whoops. Here we go. Oh, Suzanne, I just saw you suddenly. Okay, here we go.
Well, it's the end of the week. Now, where you been? Well, now it's Friday, so come on in. Let's sit down. It's very
Okay, stop. I'll stop. Stop
Thank you.
share. I've got to fix something. Sorry. I saw
Uh-oh.
Kathy's face and I knew what
Technical
was happening.
difficulties. I know.
I knew it was happening. See, we don't fool around here when it comes to the song, okay? Just a moment. Now I have to back it up. Suzanne's limbered up.
Yeah.
And here we go.
Well, it's the end of the week. Now, where you been? Well, now it's Feedback Friday, so come on in. Come sit down and stare at your screen. We got a presenter that you never seen. We're Feedback Friday, we're on the loose. We'll be the train, you be the caboose. It's Feedback Friday with Kathy and Amy. Mashed potatoes and the gravy. It's Feedback Friday all day long. Feedback, feedback, Feedback Friday.
Thank you, Amy, for fixing that little technical issue. Thank
Can't
you,
let-
Dance
Can't let Suzanne
Collective,
down.
for waiting. Thank you, choir, for joining in. Welcome, everybody. It's Friday, and today it's Botanical Colors Feedback Friday. It is episode 81. 81. Wow, it's incredible. Feedback Friday is our weekly show where we meet with dyers, artists, scientists, activists. Who else do we meet? Historians. Who haven't we met with? We meet with lots of really incredible people. And we're so happy that you have joined us. I'm Kathy Hattori, president of Botanical Colors. And accompanying me today, along with this incredible trio from our project, is Amy Dufault, our director of sustainability and social media. And this week we're really, really pleased to have three people from a project called Around the World in 80 Fabrics. We have National Geographic explorer Tierney, medical anthropologist Carroll Dunham, and textile educator and activist Lesli Robertson joining us from all parts of the US. And they're working on a project that they launched in 2021 to look at, I'm stuck on a paper bag under my desk here, hold on. They're working on a project that encompasses natural textiles and our current situation and the globe. So super fascinating. They're going to be touching both culture, fabric, technology, and sustainability. And the really cool thing about it is that we have both anthropology, we have science, and we have art in this one project. So the perspectives and the focus is really, really fascinating. I think you guys are going to love this. Before we start, I just want to say Happy New Year, even though it is kind of crazy right now. Happy New Year. I hope you're all safe. And thank you for bearing with us for yet another year of our favorite pandemic. And hopefully we'll be through this soon. And I hope you're staying safe and well. Just a little housekeeping. Amy's going to be the moderator for this presentation. She'll be monitoring the chat, which will open up at the end of the, there's going to be 3 mini presentations from our project team. And so she'll be opening it up at the end of that, and you'll be able to type in your questions. And we'll have everybody muted for this presentation, but we'll open it up at the end so we can chit chat, say hello, goodbye, wish everybody a good new year. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our first presenter, who is Tierney. Tierney joins us from Carmel, California. Welcome, Tierney.
Hello, everybody. And Kathy and Amy, thank you so much for this opportunity. We are just so thrilled to be part of this and to see so many of you guys tuning in. And I'd like to echo the same sentiments that Kathy said. You know, I really hope everyone's staying safe and healthy. And thank heavens we have this technology to bring us all together when we need to be distanced. And so thank you so much. Well, without further ado, I'm going to spend our 3 musketeers here. I'm going to have my part where I really introduce you to this incredible project that we started Around the World in 80 Fabrics, and how I came into it, and then I will hand it off to Carol, and then to Lesli, and then we will join together. So, so I'm going to take you from the land and we are going to jump off into the ocean for a bit, because that is my happy place. So let me just share my screen here and press play. Can you all see? Is that a heads up? Okay. All right. Yes. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. Yeah, so my background is marine biology. I'm a career marine biologist, and this is my happy place. It's 99% of the living space on this planet. And if you are interested in biology, it is the place to be. And so most of my career, it's been in and around or on the ocean, chasing large animals like this ocean sunfish, which is my specialty, and satellite tagging them all over the world. And I've been doing this, you know, for many years. But the more I have been in the ocean, the more I see a lot of places that look like this. Beaches completely covered in plastic trash. And, you know, my background, I just wanted to study the animals. I didn't want to get into conservation. But when you see your study sites being taken over by plastic, you can't turn a blind eye to it. And you know, I lead expeditions for Geographic. I create them for students as well. I'd have to change my whole curriculum to talk about plastic instead of about biodiversity. So, and this is just one of my study sites. You know, this is all happening all over our world ocean, where the animals are in the ocean are being subjected to this kind of pollution. So this big problem with this is that the plastic isn't just a pollutant. It actually breaks down into small little particles called microplastics. And now there's so many microplastics that are in our ocean that they actually outnumber the stars in our galaxy. That's kind of a wild concept, isn't it? It is such a ubiquitous pollutant. Now, I like to remain optimistic. So I think we're clever. We came up with plastic, and we can come up with solutions. So that's what a lot of my time has been dedicated towards, looking for solutions to our microplastics. A big portion of microplastics, which technically is like everything under 5 millimeters, are these little microfibers. And we are finding these everywhere in our salt, not in our, even in our beer. Now that is really an assault, I'd say. Now it's getting personal when it's in our beer. And in the zooplankton. And zooplankton is, I love zooplankton. So personally, I'd rather have plankton than plastic. So where are these fibers coming from? They're coming from our clothing. 60% of our clothing is made from petroleum, is a fossil fuel based. And it may seem, you know, this was something that I had no idea about when I got into this, and I was part of the problem. It is so difficult to clothe yourself in something that doesn't have a fossil fuel component to it. Any of you guys watching, take a peek at your labels. If it says acrylic, polyester, nylon, spandex, elastane, lycra, those are all derived from fossil fuels. They're plastics. And when we wash them in our washing machines, they get into the waste stream, and even more come out of our dryer vents into the atmosphere. They settle, they get into our soils. In their journey, they pick up more persistent organic pollutants that goes out into the ocean, but it comes into us. And there's some frightening stats that have just come out that we are eating pounds and pounds of plastic every day. And dying is a part of this whole panoply of petroleum products that are used to create our textiles. And this is something I'm sure you guys are all aware of. Oh, there's a typo there. But the synthetic dyes we use have all sorts of nasty chemicals and our petroleum products as well. This is a problem that's not slowing down. Interestingly, a lot of the big companies like Shell, Chevron, Saudi Aramco, they see that there's a lot of interest and movement on the climate change front. So where are they going to find the market for their oil and gas? In making plastics. And the US is already, companies are investing 200 billion in 330 plastic projects just in the US alone. So this is, and plastic production is on the upswing. It is not slowing down at all. So this is a really big issue. And in the conservation world, we think about this 24/7. Of course, it's the lower income people who suffer the most when it comes to the pollutants as well. So if you asked me, plankton or plastic, well, give me beautiful plankton any day. Actually, I've made fabric with these beautiful plankton representatives of the plankton. The truth is always stranger than fiction. I think some of the most amazing animals live in the plankton. So I would love for you guys watching to just check your labels and tell me, maybe when we get into the chat, if what you see, and if any of that you didn't realize, if that was news to you, that these are what your clothes are made of. So I got into wanting to do something about this because I myself was clothed in petroleum products. And my daughter was doing a project in middle school with National Geographic to try and tackle a real world problem called, it was called Tackling Microplastics. And together with her friends, we decided that we would make a teaching quilt, a quilt that could represent all sorts of natural fabrics, not the petroleum-based ones. We could go to secondhand stores and we could get cottons and linens and hemps and sew them together and celebrate these alternatives that when they biodegrade into nutrients instead of pollutants. So the kids got together, they sewed together this quilt, and then the project was over, but I had entered the rabbit hole and there was no extricating me. I was deep into the fabrics and the solutions and the idea of making quilts as a form of expression. Now, quilts traditionally are seen as somewhat maybe most people think of them as sort of these traditional and quaint forms of expression. But the world of activist quilt making is alive and well, and it is so exciting. Everything from the AIDS quilt, which is the largest community art project, I think, in the world, to, I was just at the San Jose Museum of Quilt and Textiles, which everyone should go visit because it's got this incredible display of climate change tapestries and quilts. And there was this great one that Alex Friedman had done where he'd sewn little pieces of credit cards into this naturally dyed tapestry. And incidentally, a study came out that every week we eat a credit card's worth of plastic. By the time we die, we will have eaten 40 pounds of plastic, each of us. So, but I'll take a tiny little foray into one of my favorite activist quilts, which is the Black Power quilt of Ruth, that was designed by Ruth Clement Bonds in the 1930s as part of the Tennessee Valley Authority projects, where she wanted to celebrate literally the power and electricity that the Black men, the labor force, was creating in building these hydroelectric dams. So she sketched out with paper this black fist with a red lightning bolt that was bringing power to rural America. And that was coined her Black Power quilt. So, so what better example of fabric and textiles entering into the, into social activism than Ruth Clement Bond's quilt. So we decided, why stop it at just the kids' quilt? Let's take on the world. And since I do work with National Geographic, I've had the opportunity to go to many, many countries and see the incredible craft and handiwork of makers across the globe. And that has just opened my eyes to the myriad of plants and animals that exist, and fungi and algae, as well as what's being cultivated in the laboratory with biofabrication labs that are at the cutting edge of synthetic biology, culturing fabrics de novo from Petri plates. So I started to look into this, and then met my lovely Carroll Dunham, who also is at National Geographic. And Carroll was instantly got what the project was about and expanded it, as Carroll, you'll see, Carroll has an expansive, amazing polymath mind, and has great experience with animal fibers, sustainable animal fibers. So as I partnered with Carroll on this, she's like, well, let's not just make a quilt. We need to make a book. We need to make a social media feed. And so we brought some interns on this summer. We hit the ground running, and one of our interns introduced us to the beautiful Lesli Robertson, who then brought in our education components and her incredible textile wisdom. And it's like, no, we need interactive workshops. We need maker database. We need maker networks. And so the three of us have been working together. It's just a really amazing, amazing partnership. And what's been so exciting about this project, especially coming from the marine world, where every day there's another assault on Mother Ocean, from acidification to pollution to eutrophication, which is, too much fertilizer in there that's leading to dead zones. Every time we would meet another maker who was using regenerative agriculture and enriching the soil, like Helen Keyes up in Ireland, who was bringing flax back to Ireland and enriching the soil in the process. And Nilda Canyalpa in Cusco, who's preserving cultural heritage in the Andean mountains with her weaving and her natural dyes. And Elaine Moses down there in the corner with those adorable little musk ox babies, where she's bringing kiviute and musk ox fur and preserving Alaskan tribal knitting and patterns. And then, on the cutting edge of looking at biofabrication, we've got Ryan Hunt and Algix, who's distilling algal oil and making products from algae. So the more we looked, we're trying to, this textile fiber wheel that we've put together is definitely a work in progress, because it's just a draft, but there are so many solutions that are from plants and from proteins that the natural world has created, that's what we're hoping to showcase in the quilt and through the project. Of course, my heart is in the ocean. Actually, all of us are little walking oceans. All the water in which we're looking at each other today, that was once in the ocean. And so we'll return to the ocean. So in a sense, we're all little walking oceans. And some of my favorite cloths are from seaweed. And here we've got Violaine Bouet, one of the makers that we're looking at, with her incredibly gorgeous seaweed fabrics. So that's just a quick little glimpse at the project. And as I turn it over to Carroll and Lesli, I just want to conclude by saying, nature's got 4 billion years on us of tried and true testing. and this wealth of solutions for making sustainable, nourishing fabrics that we can wrap around our body, minds, and souls, and hopefully lift the voices of all the makers that are singing this same message. For there's no beauty in the finest cloth if it's making hunger and happiness. And I think we can completely and truly change the world with fabric. And my big wish is that my kids will say, Mommy, remember back when we were little and plastic was everywhere? Man, I'm glad we cleaned our act up. And so that's my great wish. So now I'm going to stop sharing and I will hand it over to my amazing collaborator, Carroll, to take you into the Himalayas and the mountains, from the ocean to the mountains. And I think we've got, oh, Carroll, I think you're on mute. Yeah. So.
Hi guys, 1 minute.
Ah, there we go.
It's not showing, it doesn't want to show my computer. Huh. That's 1 second. Oh, just hold
Carol, I
on.
can't really hear you so
Sing a
well.
song and
Oh, there we go.
can you guys hear me? I'm just having a problem. It's not showing, it's not letting me share. There you go. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
It's okay. Here we go. I think we're gonna move into action here. Sorry guys, first time sharing like this. Let me just see if we can get this into action. Let's see here. Whoop. And hold on. Whoop, we're not where we want to be. Hold on, guys. We're 1 second here. I'm new to all this. Oh, I think I might. Okay,
You
let's
freeze
see.
it.
Just getting us up. This is a little preview here, gang. Enjoy it.
It's all right. We had
Okay,
a
so
little
wait,
some
let me try.
technical difficulties before. Well,
Hold on. It's not showing up on my screen. What I'm wanting to share with you. Just 2 seconds. I really have a lot I want to share with you, and I'm very excited about it. Oh, so interesting. 1 moment here. Let's try it again. It's telling me. There we go. Okay. It doesn't. Let's try this again. All right. Ready, everybody? I
We're
really
totally
want to
ready.
share this with you. So I'm ready too. Share. It says screen sharing has failed to start. Please try again later. Okay, let's try it again. There's Zoom. It's saying it's failing to share. So I'm going to try one more time.
yep.
How about this time?
I'm starting
Three
to
is a
see
charm.
it. It's saying it started.
Okay,
screen
thanks for your
sharing.
patience. All
So
right, so I want to take you guys on a grand journey to the Himalayas, on the mountains. We've been to the oceans. If we had more time, I'd take you up to Mongolia, into the steppes, where I've spent the last 18 years working with nomads and with
Carol?
felt. But right now, just because maps are
Carol?
always helpful. Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I'm right
so just so you know, this was happening before. So it takes a little bit of time for your screen to load. So we're just starting to see it right now. So Leslie
Okay.
and Kathy, you guys can see the screen. It's a little pixelated a little bit right now, but is that the same for you guys?
Yeah, I apologize, you guys. I'm in very rural, remote New Mexico. So the lesson is I really can't do this from my home in rural New Mexico. I'm going to try to just talk if I can and share what I can, and we'll see if the imagery works or it doesn't, but I still think there's some story to tell. Can everybody see? I have a little map in front just to give you a little bit of an orientation, because I really wanted to take you from Tibet into Bhutan and in the high Himalayas on this journey. So let's just see if, okay, yeah, it's not, okay. The screen is there. I would love to take you up, all the way up into the high Himalayas on the plateau at 15,000 feet looking down. And the reason for that I would love to is because, of course, the textiles and and we have to understand where they come from. What is the geography, geology, etc. So these are the bright colors of the pangdans that are worn by women. They look and appear as if they would be synthetic. But in fact, early travelers were just shocked to see that these incredibly bright colors on the aprons that were worn actually were all natural dyes. And those bright lurid reds came from lock that came from Bhutan, which is where we're going to go, and I'm going to show you later. So these extraordinarily beautiful, rich colors that you can see here. There was a wonderful traveler, Fosco Morani, and he said, these electric colors contrast with our drab European colors. We sort of look like penguins in contrast. He was absolutely taken with the beauty of these rich pungdents. And so every different region will have their own colors, their own distinctive that tell a little bit more about who and where they're from. And oh, it's so interesting. I wish I could take you into the Himalayas, down off the steps of the plateau.
Carol, this is Leslie, real quick.
Yeah.
Amy and I were just doing a little chat because you're not seeing, for some reason it worked perfectly right at the beginning, and now you're seeing it, but it's not catching up with us. What do you think if we trade places, and let's see if you can pop that on a Google Drive for the group?
Okay. Can I? If you just want me to? Okay, you'll continue on, and then I'll just share the talk as that. It's kind of sad because if you could see the images that I have to show you guys.
Well, Carol, it's Kathy.
Yeah.
If you can put it on a drive on Google Drive and share it with either me or Amy or both of us, then we can run the slideshow because we have the bandwidth. You don't have the bandwidth.
Okay, great. Will do.
Okay.
Great. And then
Right,
go ahead and take over, and I apologize, you guys. There we go.
Perfect.
Okay.
And Tierney, do you want to send her a Google Drive link and she can just stick that in? So while she's working on that. Oh, wait, you're on mute.
If Carol just emails it, it'll go into a Google Drive.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
so
Like how this is happening in real time.
We go with it, right?
Hey, just stay tuned because we're going to get this all under wraps, and I promise this is going to, I want to see all those beautiful images, Carol, that you were talking about. That's why we were saying maybe we'll just get Leslie to go, get it on the drive, and then I'll share it.
And yeah, if you can just email it to Amy and Kathy, that's great.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to do it as a WeTransfer. Go ahead.
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, so we all adjust here, right? We have to move and adjust. It was really fun. I saw some familiar faces, and one of my friends was like, this is so great, the energy here. So I think it makes sense that sometimes you have to stop in the middle and make adjustments. I am so excited to be a part of this project. I think you can just see, and you will hear from Carol as well, the passion that each Tierney and Carol bring to this and what we want to do to really highlight the amazing materials that are across the globe. I've always been a wanderlust type person where I feel more comfortable with a suitcase in my hand. So this project is one where you feel like you can just travel through learning about makers. And so as Tierney said, I kind of jumped on board the project when they reached out to me about Ugandan barkcloth. And so I wanted just to kind of do a deep dive into one of the fabrics from the project, tie it in to some natural dyes, and just to give you a glimpse of what one of these amazing fabrics from the project holds. So this is an amazing fiber that I've been studying, plant fiber, for about 15 years. It comes from a tree called the matuba tree, from a Ficus natalensis species of tree. And it's a mystery. It really is. I've been studying this cloth for about 15 years, not only just the process of making it as a textile, but really about the history and culture associated with it. And there's always something I'm learning every year or every time I'm fortunate enough to visit Uganda and really learn about it. Just to give you a little brief history of the cloth, it was discovered, some say maybe 700 years ago. And it goes from an origin story that says that somebody stripped bark from a tree and tethered a goat with it and found out that it stretched, to it was being brought down from heavens. It was used way in the past for clothing. It was used in the home for bed coverings, for wall dividers. And my good friend and colleague, Fred Mutebi, has this great memory, he said, of visiting his grandmother's house in the village in Uganda and being covered up with bark cloth to sleep at night. And so it's this amazing material that not only is about function and how you use it on your body and your home, but it also clothed kings, the Buganda of the Kabaka of the Buganda tribe, as well as being used for his coronation, being used for different ritual purposes, but also right now, people are using it in fashion design, in contemporary art and product design. So it's a really amazing material. You probably want to see what it looks like in a minute. I did get into this through, here we go, a small bespoke textile studio that I'm running now called Mikeka Designs, where I'm actually using this amazing material that I've been studying and trying to see what we can do with it in terms of gorgeous pieces for your home. So this is sort of how I got into right now in the project and working with bark cloth. I'm gonna give you a little, it's killing me not to show you the whole video of the bark cloth making, but I think we could probably have an entire talk just on this amazing material. This is Vincent Kajoga, and this is one of the first steps in taking this bark from the tree and turning it into an amazing fabric. Now it is, again, a tree called the Matuba tree. He takes and strips, makes cuts at the top and the bottom, this big horizontal cut, takes a banana stalk from a banana tree and starts to slowly remove the bark from the trunk. This is Paul Bukenya and Vincent. After they've kind of, forced that banana stalk under the whole bark, they start to lift it off. And then it goes through this amazing process of being pounded into a gorgeous white cloth. Now, I will say, so I don't forget to say that the tree doesn't die, that the bark grows back every year for about 40 to 50 years. It's an amazing material. I'm going to do a quick side note and say congratulations to Paul Bukenya. About a month ago, he was awarded a Janzi Award, which is an honor in Uganda. It's a national honor for outstanding craftsperson. And for someone who is a bark cloth maker who has never really gained the recognition that he truly deserves, to win this award is amazing. Now, I said that bark cloth goes back 700 years. Paul's family has been making bark cloth for 300 years. So you can imagine that this cloth not only has this rich beauty, but it has an amazing history as well in Uganda. What I love is the cloth itself. Now, as Tierney was talking about the array of natural fabrics around the world, this is just one of them, and one of them that has layers of meaning, layers of intrigue with the process, mysteries about it, things to still be discovered. And I love this photo because if you're lucky enough to travel to Uganda and you're lucky enough to come up on a bark cloth maker's home and you see all these pieces drying out, know that each one of these is a tree. And I love that idea that every time you see this rectangle of cloth being stretched out, that has come from one tree in particular. And as the bark cloth makers know, and as all of this insane knowledge that they have, each tree, each time it's harvested, the sun exposure, the variation on the Matuba tree brings you a different color, right? It's all in this beautiful rust family, but it can go from cream to salmon to darker rust. There's so much more to explore, but I love the idea that this feels like it's sort of an intrinsic natural dye that still has a lot for us to explore just within the cloth itself. Now, this got me thinking, as I got to know the cloth about, and seeing the process of it being boiled down, is one step I didn't show you, but as it's being boiled, it releases like a red color in the water. And so it got me thinking, okay, what is that? Is that tannin that's in the water? Can that be a dye? And then as an artist and designer, I started looking at all the scraps that I had left over. And a colleague of mine, hi Kirsten, who's on the call, we've always talked about how do you use every bit of this precious material. So it got me thinking about what What can it be? Can it be a tannin that could help dye some of the cottons coming out of Uganda? We didn't know. So I wanted to show you, since we are in this really kind of fun botanical colors, I want to give a huge shout out to Catherine Ellis, who is a wonderful colleague who has kind of followed my work in Uganda. I begged her to send some bark cloth to her and said, is it good? I would love it to work in these ways. Can you help me understand it more? And I've not really shown anybody this. It sort of stays in my folder as part of my own research. But she was great. She actually kind of compared it to some really strong tannins like oak gall and did a whole series of experiments you can see using madder. And I think that she also used weld to see, how does bark cloth stand up as a tannin? How does it stand up to help secure the color and to enhance the color on cloth? Now, it's okay, right? It's not perfect. It's not gonna ever reach the equivalent of a oak gall for your tannin. So a lot of you guys are in natural dyes will know what I'm talking about. But hey, it stands okay on its own. The other thing she was looking at, you can see in the bottom right, are those two beautiful kind of peachy, fleshy color. She was looking at it, can it just be a dye in itself? And why not keep exploring that? So I did a little bit of work in my studio, you know, as I was doing applique work. This is just some quick shots. I had some beautiful cream Ugandan cotton, really light, almost white. So I thought, let me just dye it with it. And so I could get, again, I love the concept of a dye that came out of the material you're using. So this was kind of fun to experiment with. And I also want to just give a shout out to Kirsten Scott and Karen Spurgeon. There is, like I said, so much to be discovered in this natural fiber, so much to be discovered in all of the different natural fabrics that we're researching for Around the World project. But one of the things the two of them are doing, again, is more experimentations with dye. What happens if our concept of creating garments, luxury garments, garments that are very much experimental, what if we have zero waste through the entire process? Every little scrap of bark cloth goes back into the process in some way. And so Karen, this is one of her samples of her dye samples. You can see both of their work on Instagram. It's really fun. They did a lot of experimenting with vinegaroon as well on top of bark cloth to achieve that beautiful sheen of that dark black sheen. You can see the work by Kirsten Scott down at the bottom right. So these are just some of the experimentations with bark cloth as a natural dye to kind of go, what does it have inside of it that we could use and apply to some of the work that we're doing? Now, I was super intrigued with this. I knew my little face will be small, this gorgeous material. Like I said earlier, bark cloth is a mystery. And so it wasn't until 12 years into and 8 trips to Uganda that I actually saw this cloth, this black bark cloth. And it was just automatically intriguing to me. It's already dyed. What did you use? And so I thought it'd be great to share with you what that was. So I have a little video. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to jump in and out real quick and just show you a natural dye process that Paul, the amazing Paul Bukenya, knows about and has done. I don't know how long he's been working with the clay dye, but he is one of the only people I've ever seen do this. So it doesn't really have a lot of sound, so we're just going to let it go here. So they take that gorgeous rust fabric and they bury it in these specific swampy areas. Now, this group works in the Masaka district in Uganda.
It will never be the same.
And this happens to be in this really wonderful swampy area that, of course, is a bit endangered with the eucalyptus trees coming around. So, but they bury it, leave it for several days, and then slowly remove all the mud.
So it hasn't stayed for the whole week, 3 days. So
you can hear our good friend Fred Mutebi narrating. It stayed for 3 days. It's never going to be the same again. The iron in this has completely changed.
He says in
cloth.
3 days it has gotten enough black. That any other addition is where are you?
So everything is using everything that nature provides, even washing the bark cloth out in the local kind of pond right there. And then I will show you too, right at the end of this. I love the color. Like for y'all that have dyed, it's fabulous. So the last step is to wash it. And so this was a pumpkin that they used to create suds. It's kind of a natural detergent for the cloth. And again, it goes in rust and comes out this insane, rich, rich, rich color. So I love that. I love the transformation of cloth. I think that's why all of us are in to natural dyes. It's like you put something in a dye pot, one color comes out another, and you know that all of that happened because of nature. So I will go ahead. I've got one other slide to show you, but I did want to see, Amy, if we're good on time.
I think we should open it up to questions. So I just thought, because I was looking for Carol's link from Carol, but it's fine. We're running a little late anyway, but I just told everybody we've had technical difficulties. That's the way it goes. But the three of you have a lot of great information about your project and about the different fibers those 80 fibers that will be part of your quilt and part of the project. And people are putting questions in the chat now. So maybe we could just go right into that. Leslie, what do you think?
Yeah. And I will say kind of ahead of time right now, I thought it'd be fun to put this last slide up to show you that it's sort of a journey, a discovery that, if y'all have run across anything that you're like, oh my God, this would be perfect for the project, please let us know. In the next few weeks, we're going to be trying to source wild stinging nettle, muka, linen, tapa, aloe cloth from Nepal, wool from Morocco, pea silk from India. We are a nonprofit as well. And I hope it's okay to say, if you would like to donate to help us procure some of the fabrics, we have a PayPal link. Any amount helps because we're trying to get right now small sample pieces, but it costs us to get things shipped. We don't want any of the artisans to be out any, but we also would love to get larger pieces and multiple pieces. We're super excited because this year we've got some really great exhibits in the works. I don't know if we can say yet what they are, but it's going to be really exciting to kind of bring the project to people internationally and here in DC. So in June. But yeah, so Amy, that was the last thing I wanted to share. And then if we have questions.
Yeah, just stop your share and we'll open it up, and I have you, I think, spotlighted, but let's see, I'm going to, or maybe not. I'm just going to jump into the questions. How about that? And just so you all know, when I put up the video post, we have lots of links to the organization, to the project, to each one of the women's Instagrams, or you'll have full access to them. So if you have some questions, you can direct it right at them. So we're going to just jump into what we have though right here. So let's see. And any one of the three can answer this. Are you doing anything to address sustainability of natural materials, such as how cotton led to a drought in Uzbekistan?
Yes, that's actually, we're going to be posting about that on our social media in the coming weeks, as the Aral Sea was once the fourth largest lake in the world, and because of over irrigation to irrigate cotton crops, it just dwindled down to nothing, and then it became a dust bed, and all sorts of toxic pollutants from the dust bed being liberated into the atmosphere. So that's a huge problem, as well as the social justice issues with child labor. for harvesting cotton in Uzbekistan. Now, that said, they have cleaned up their act to a certain degree. There's much less child labor involved, but that's certainly a story that we're following and looking for sustainable cotton examples all over the world. One person we're working with is Angel Chang in China, who has zero carbon cotton with no electricity involved whatsoever, and from very rural villages in China. So an example of a beautiful Chinese textile that's completely tied to the natural environment. And there are many different cottons. One of our favorite cottons is Acadian brown cotton. It's a natural brown cotton that's domestically sourced in the south of the US. And we love the folks, Darcy, Fabra, and Susan. So that's definitely going to be featured in the quilt and their story. And we love, the chat's just going off. I love it. You guys are amazing. And there is,
yeah, I'm gonna keep going with the questions and fire them at you guys. And what you're talking about, Tierney, too, the Acadiana fiber shed. They I just made a note to make sure I put that in the video recap, because they're doing a lot of work with that brown cotton with the Acadiana fiber shed.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Once we find petroleum-based fabrics in our closets, what's the most environmentally responsible thing to do? I think many of us wonder how best to divest, make something new that doesn't need washing.
Yes, it's really challenging. It is so challenging, and best to divest. So one thing I do want people to know is that a lot of times when you want to do a Maria Kondo and you want to just clear it all out. I'm going to be a minimalist, but you're offloading all your garbage to some other place, be it the Goodwill, that gets sent. One of the largest clothes recycling places is in Ghana, and they call it dead white man's clothing because they're like, they must all be dead over there to have so much clothing that they don't need. They must have all died. And so that's what they call this deluge of clothing that people don't want, that then gets sent over to Africa, and then it just destroys the indigenous traditions because it's so cheap. So sending all the stuff you don't want to the Goodwill isn't the best option either. So what we recommend is the clothing that is petroleum based, just be really careful when you're washing it. You don't have to wash it all the time. You can hang dry it. Drying is really hard on petroleum fabrics. Wash hard things and hard things together. Like, don't wash your shoes with your super soft clothing. Don't use these harsh laundry detergents, which can completely break down fibers. So care for your clothing can go a long way to reducing the shedding of microplastics, definitely. And it's a work in progress. Don't beat yourself up. Don't be too hard on yourself. Every little bit counts. But I mean, my closet's full of this stuff. And it's a process. Innovation is a journey, not a destination. So we adapt, we want to lift the voices of all these different solutions for people to take advantage of. And there's no hero fabric, and there's no one solution. It's just, raising consciousness, taking care of the clothes you have, and trying to support the ones that are really making the effort to make nutritious clothing.
I like that, nutritious clothing. I've never heard that one before, but hey, I'm going to throw my own question in. So as part of your project with all the 80 fabrics from around the world, will you have a story for each fabric on the site, like where it came from, the maybe impacts of it, or I don't know, maybe Lesli or Carroll, if you want to speak to that? And everybody, yes, Carroll's presentation will be available after this week. I totally promise. I'll make sure that happens.
My deep apologies. I'm in the rural part of New Mexico, where those beautiful natural shades and colors are found in the mountains, etc. I think that when you're asking the question of what was the question?
Stories. Are we going to have stories for every fabric?
Well, if you know, here's really what's so beautiful is that not only is it full of storytelling and the social cultural elements, we really want to tell the ecology of fabric. You know, it's really the same that what's gone on in the food industry, which is where does our clothes come from? And we know how opaque the clothing, you know, all the middle people, where does it come from? Even in terms of ecology, how does it impact? I was going to be sharing with you guys a little bit about a lac in Bhutan, and you know, it's a resin that comes from an insect, but then you have to think about the different kinds of trees that this insect lives upon. So that if you weren't looking at the sustainability of that kind of natural dye. So we plan to do really heavy storytelling from mythology to all the way down to the science itself, and really understanding sustainability as we really try to understand what could we as humans wear in a post-petroleum world, you know, and the choices, what are the choices we make? So we're grateful to be able to speak with like-minded spirits as yourselves out there.
Yeah. Thanks, Carol. And I know, you know, when we had our talk, four of us, one, two, three, four, five of us, sorry, on Tuesday, we were talking about how interesting it was with, you know, with you, with two out of three really being more into the science of the fabrics, or the science of kind of what the different subject matter that you do usually dive into. So it was interesting for you. I know, Tierney, you especially said that you'd never seen anything like it in that connection that you were able to make with people through fabrics than and other parts or other lenses you've put on what you do as a professional. Maybe speak to that just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, because I've worked in conservation now for decades, and mainly coming through filmmaking, but fabrics they're so accessible. Everybody has a connection to them. I mean, unless you want to just wear a barrel, you're not going to get through life without putting clothes around your hearts and your parts. And so it's a very personal way of interacting with the world. Both, you know, so I found like nothing I had worked on in conservation could pull in such disparate audiences, and what we call the unconverted, you know, people who really don't know anything about what's going on in the world, or don't care about it, don't want to care about it. But through fashion and through clothing, it's like I don't know, like our Trojan horse, you know, you put it in there and then you're like, but wait, look, everything it's connected to. And that has just been so incredibly exciting. And we've also taken to calling this our mental health project, because the makers that we meet are so positive, and it's such a win-win. Like the seaweed farmers who are wanting to extract algal oil for fabrics. You know, seaweed, it's a carbon sink. It buffers ocean acidification. It's a habitat for hundreds and hundreds of species. It takes no water. The water's already there, no chemical pesticides. And it's filled with nutrients that you can eat that are so good for you and so healthy. So, and that's just a seaweed component. We see this in regenerative agriculture. We see this with the nomadic herdsmen that Carroll knows so intimately, that relationship with the land, and how the herds, you know, through their manure, nurture the land. And they're beneficial, whereas the way we graze animals in this country, and with all our fences, and they overgraze, if they're allowed to roam, that can have such a beneficial effect on the prairie lands, which are a huge carbon sink. So it's all connected. And as I said, you know, nature's been at this for billions of years, so we just need to listen.
Yeah. All right, Tierney, Carol, I mean, we're going to wrap it up, but did you have something that you wanted to add quickly to it?
Oh, I just wanted to share, if you think of, the history of humans, we've been, wearing what we've been wearing since the very beginning of time, from flax on, and our creative human ingenuity. And yes, fantastic plastic. We've had a run with petroleum, not realizing. And I think that it's very exciting as we re-look back and think, what could we wear in the future? And it's actually looking back into different environments and enzymes, and seeing what different people around the planet have been wearing forever. And so I think it's a very exciting time to be a human and alive. And I think we may be able to figure this out together.
And I love it that that with this project that you're working on, that we're going to be looking at it again through that lens of fabrics and fibers and people, and how can we solve those problems, or at least make them a little less, and keep back. Like I always say, you never really solve everything, but you can keep pushing back the charge, so that you can keep things in a little bit of a balance. But thank you so much. I'm sorry we had those technical difficulties. We're going to have like a link fest. There's going to be so much information in that video post. So
yeah,
Monster Link Fest. That's
Monster Link Fest.
I
Thank
would
you,
love
Kathy.
access to the chat too, because I've been making little notes. People are
It'll be on
sending
it.
fabrics that they know about.
The chat will be in the
perfect.
recording. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Ladies, thank you so much. That was
Thank you.
fantastic. Just to get a taste of the endeavor that you are about to really dive into. We're really happy to have you join us. It was incredible. Carroll, the Tibetan stuff was just killing me. It was so gorgeous. And we'll be able to see your PowerPoint later, so we'll be able to enjoy that as well. Let me just tell you really quickly a few reminders, and then our program for next week. We have marigold mix on sale because it has been really gloomy. I mean, Seattle has gone through about a week of snow, which is really unusual for us. And then yesterday we had 2 inches of rain. So now we're just kind of in sort of this regional sort of sogginess. And so we thought we'd put marigolds on sale. Marigold mix. It's easy to use. It's beautiful. And we hope you enjoy that. We're also getting the seed offerings available. So we're going to have indigo, a couple of different flower seeds, and a few things. And then once our grand prismatic order comes in, we'll have those available to you as well. So start looking for that. And the other thing that I think is really apropos to this presentation and some of the questions that were brought up is that FiberShed has a 7-day FiberShed challenge about looking at where your own wardrobe comes from, what's in your wardrobe, what are some of the things you can do about your wardrobe, caring for your wardrobe, mending, all sorts of interesting resources that you can link on and read as little or as much as you want. So it's Amy's going to put that in chat, and as well it'll be on the post where you can participate in that. It's really great. I'm on day 5 and really enjoying the resources. There's some really great food for thought about greenwashing, about the issues with sustainability, about how brands are using sustainability to advance still a polyester-based feedstock for their fashions, and what's wrong with that. Some of the metrics that are being used to measure what's sustainable and what isn't, and what they include, and more importantly, what they leave out in order to skew the results towards something that we intuitively understand is not sustainable. So it's very fascinating. I really encourage you to look at that. Next week, our presenter is me. I'm going to be looking at different ways of getting green from using a few dyes that we have. So some yellows that we've been working with, as well as some different types of ways of shading ourselves, all the way from olive to lime green. Where's my little, here it is. So we can get this color, which I think was kind of fun. And I'll be going through kind of a kitchen demo on how I got those colors and the recipes. And with that, we're going to go ahead and open it up and say hello and goodbye. And Amy, any last words?
Yeah, actually, because I don't know who put it in there, but I have to look it up, but January 11th, Human Trafficking Awareness and Wear Blue.
Hmm.
I wasn't
Hey.
aware of that,
January
about the
11th,
wearing
that's
of,
Tuesday.
that's Tuesday. I'll get more info on that and put it in the, inside the video too. I'll also post on social media if you guys want to make sure you do that, and we'll learn more about it too.
Great.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
Thank you,
unmute yourselves.
everyone.
Say hi.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Great.
Thank
Awesome
you,
to see you all.
Leslie.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Love
Thank
you all.
you.
Oh,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
It was
Thank
lovely.
you. Amy, I gotta
Bye.
just go look and see if,
Okay, Kathy.
I mean, I'm gonna stay on, but I just have to run away for a second.
Okay, I'm here.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Thank you
Year.
so much.
I really love the energy of the talk of the people who talked. Of
I do too. And you
Tierney
know what
and
else I love?
Leslie and Carol. Yeah. I'm
I also
really
love your new
I'm all
haircut.
excited again after I was a bit sad actually for so many years of plastic in the ocean, and I think we have a great group of people who can do this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
No, it was awesome. Totally awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you.
But it takes
Thank
all of
you.
us. It'll take all
Yeah.
of us.
Thank you so much.
Reese,
Hey, Reese.
Happy New
Oh,
Year.
Yes.
Whoa, I
Thank
hear Breeze, but I also hear my mother.
Hello. Hi, Ellie.
Happy
Ellie G's in the house.
Hi, Ellie G.
Hey,
You
Kathy.
doing?
Hi, Breeze.
Oh, your plate
Hi,
looks
Leslie.
great. Look at that pretty plate behind you.
Look how beautiful
she looks.
Look, our Feedback Fridays songwriters here too. I was trying to get him to perform live for us today, but
Oh, would have been great.
Bummer. All right.
yeah. He said it
Okay,
sounds
Amy.
better recorded.
I'm going to stop the
Oh,
recording.
Jimmy Snyder.
Recording is stopping.
Okay, thanks.